Okay, I'm excited to do a third installment of my monthly series where I rank all the books that I've read by one particular author from least favorite to favorite. This month, I have chosen to rank all five of the Kate Quinn books that I've read. This was honestly probably the most challenging ranking that I've done thus far. She's honestly one of my probably top two favorite authors, and I absolutely loved all five of these books. And if you ask me on any given day, the order could be different. In fifth place is her first World War II historical fiction book, The Alice Network. Maybe this is just recency and I just haven't read this in so long. I remember absolutely loving this book and flying through it, but the story hasn't stuck with me the way some of her other books have. In fourth place, I have ranked The Huntress, which came right after The Alice Network. There are a couple of character crossovers. In fact, she kind of does that in most of her books I've found. If you pay close attention, she'll drop little breadcrumbs and little hints about characters in her other novels. I absolutely devour this book, and I can actually remember I read it in 2019 in the UK on a trip, and I remember being, I think, on a bus and not wanting to get to the destination because I was so enthralled in this book. So I can't quite believe that I'm ranking it number 4 because it was so great, but that just shows how much I loved her other books. In third place, I am putting The Briar Club. I read this earlier this year. It's her most recent, it's not World War II, it's the McCarthy era just after World War II, but sort of in that era. And I just loved it. I loved how different it was. I loved how unique the writing style was and the story structure was. And I just fell in love with all of the characters in this story. In second place, I am putting The Diamond Eye. This book is so interesting to me. It's about female snipers in the Soviet Union, and I thought the story was just so beautiful. I can still vividly picture the sort of pinnacle scene in the book, the final conflict. I can actually picture that story in my brain still from when I read it many years ago. So I have to choose this one as one of my top 2. I loved it so much. And in the top place, I have selected The Rose Code. I loved this story. It's about female codebreakers at Bletchley Park during the war, and it's about a bunch of best friends and kind of their journeys through the war and the hardships that they face. And just something about this book I love so much. I read it during COVID lockdown with my mom and sisters, and we had sort of a virtual book club going, and so there might be something, connected to my heart from that time and reading it with them, but I just loved this story so much. It was so well done. So that's my top book, and that is my ranking of Kate Quinn. But honestly, you cannot go wrong with any of these books. They are phenomenal, and I just encourage you to read them if you haven't before. And if you have read her books, let me know what your favorite is.